Okay, right now, hello ladies and gentlemen. What I am displaying here is a black screen because OBS isn't working right. There we go. Now I know you guys are annoyed constantly by the constant arrival of topics of people showing off like good games and good things that have happened to them in the game just on an individual basis, like I don't know, finally getting the second MOE on their Cromwell or getting a Top Gun in their T25, etc. I understand that completely, but this is a little bit different. I hold it to you, and I'll tell you right away so I don't waste too much of your time. Now, what I have here is an E100 game where I wanted to see if I could make a video of me showing how to fire predominantly AP in the E100, get by, and, well, basically not to overspend in the E100, because as you know, the E100 is well known as one of the more prominent tanks guilty of heat spam. And this is a totally understandable traits of the E100 due to the underwhelming AP pen and the very appealing 700 damage that comes with it. Okay, now first of all, if you are on this map and you are on this cap, always destroy this house. Do it. Always destroy the house because that means there is no cover for anyone who tries to cap. And it makes a difference in some situations, not all situations, but you might as well do it if you're there and no one else does it. It makes a difference. Anyways, back to the E100. So, I originally wanted to make a video of demonstrating how to fire mostly AP, or just when to fire heat, and when I fire heat anyways, because I'm not the best player, and I will grant that to you right now. But, yeah, I wanted to make this video, just to show it to the forums, and possibly give people a bit of an eye-in of how I get by firing mostly AP, and how you can have a decent enough game in the E100, and it won't matter much. But this ended up being one of the greatest games I've ever had in World of Tanks thus far, and I'll show the post-battle reports after this. But basically, I ended up getting a Top Gun, 9,000 damage, and okay, first off, that ISU, lucky shot, but I got him. And that was AP. But yeah, anyways, yes, I get an absolutely incredible E100 game. I'm pretty sure you guys have gone on Quickie Baby's website or YouTube and Mighty Jingles and seen like these replays, but I am not the best player, and I'm not a very good player, and I don't admire much of the techniques, and I fired only 3 heat shells over the course of this entire match. And I'll try and alert you to them as I go on. And 2 of these 3 heat shells aren't really even they shouldn't really even count because circumstances change basically. But right now what I'm doing is I've gone up to the corner. Down this flank, there's not too many tanks that came this way, and there's just 2 other tier 10s, and they need support. They need other tier 10 firepower, and that's me. And what I'm trying to do right now is get a shot on this T-57 Heavy. I had a silhouette for a split second, and I'm trying to angle myself right. I'm also trying to not go any further on that corner to where I show too much of my turret to the tanks over there, because if they get a good angle on it, then they can hit me and pen me there. One of the better places to pen an E100 is on the side of the turret. So I do nail the T-57 Heavy, again with AP. Now I understand a bit of my screen is cut off, but that's just the way I have it set up in OBS. I would change it, but I can't be bothered right now, I'm sorry. So I try and take a shot on that tortoise, and it doesn't work at all. So I've still got AP loaded, but actually no, I'm loading heat now, and this is for the Type 4 Heavy. He's got a lot of health right now, and I don't need him pestering my teammates too much, because I know he'll get the... I don't want him to get a bright idea that he has a free ride going in and killing my teammates. So I need to tell him that there's someone who will do damage to him, will do serious damage to him, and will keep him at bay. And that's what that heat shell was for. That's the first heat shell I've fired this round, and admittedly it is quite early in the round, but let's carry on from here. So I go back to AP, and I think at this point I try to hit the E100, but it doesn't get anywhere. Yeah, I don't waste the shell, I back off. And I think at this point I try to see if I can get a better angle on T-57 Heavy. And because he is 1 shot away from dying to my gun, so I figure if I can get the T-57, that's a nice early knockout, so I don't have to worry about him in the late game. So I get up on the hill where I know I'm relatively safe, and unfortunately I didn't have the displeasure of artillery this match, which is, I think, one of the big contributing factors to my victory, my extremely prominent victory. There we go, I do get him. I play extremely aggressive, and not having arty is only conducive to that, so Okay, so I see now these three guys are mounting a huge assault on my heavily armored teammates. The E100 shows the side of his turret to me, so that is the perfect opportunity for me to pile drive some AP shells into the side of his turret. I back off though. I should probably dive in and use the substantial amount of health that I have, but I look and I see that they're bouncing quite a few shells, and unfortunately this judgment kind of nails me in the back of the head in a second here, but I get another shot off on the side of the E100. I try to ship him down so that those tanks could possibly single out the E100 and kill him. Unfortunately, they don't kill him right away. I think they do. I think they try, but they don't manage to get him or something along those lines. But the Type 4 Heavy is getting behind them, which I think that would probably fluster my teammates a little bit. At this point, my teammates are pretty much lost. I unfortunately was not able to keep them alive, and yeah, I don't. That's just what happens. I mean, again, I probably, if I had dove in there and tried to get their attention a bit more, I probably could have whittled some of the damage that they dealt off to me, but that's unfortunate. But now the Type 4 Heavy is low on health, so what I did, I've loaded an HE shell. Wait. Oh no, sorry, I've loaded an AP shell. And that was because of the T-32. I didn't want to get the Type 4 Heavy right away. I don't know why I made that judgment, but the T-32 was back there, and I guess I needed to shoot him off, so I loaded AP and fired it at the T-32. But yeah, I've loaded HE against Type 4 Heavy because he was low on health, and I knew an HE shell was all I needed to take him out. So yeah. So the T-34 there is actually full on health, and the Jagdpanzer over there just finished off the T-32. So all I have to worry about is this T-34. He's the only one on this flank, and I know that for a fact. Even still, I play the E100 game against him. I angle myself. I make myself, well, basically much more of a challenge for him to get. And it's at this point that I realize, you know what? I've got all this damage, and he's just a tier 8. He's in a premium. He's probably grinding some creds. So I play a bit more loosely to him, mostly to give him the shots. And here he probably does pen me. Yep, because it's short range, and it's my lower Glossius, so I figured enough he'd pen me. Now he gives me a very clean shot at the top of his turret, which of course I moved, so I had to let the gun train in a little bit more, but I did get him on top of the turret. And he's got no health left, so I just dive straight in for the ram, and yep, that takes care of it. But I gave him 2 clean shots on me, so that's good. T-34 walks off with probably, that's an extra 10k of credits gone in right to him, because that's tier 10 damage to him, so that's pretty good. But anyways, there's only 3 tanks left on the enemy team, and I basically decide to sprint hard. I let the guys know in chat, I mean, I'm 1 kill away from a Top Gun. I'd appreciate it if you guys could consider that, but I mean, it's not desperately needed. I'm not super greedy, so yeah. So I just give them the heads up. Hope that they're nice people and will, you know, ease back and maybe give me the kill that I want. And the IS-7, of course, makes himself immediately apparent. Now these guys are way far away over there, so they're down in the lower ground. So I don't worry too much. I just sprint right across to close the range, and I think it's at this point that I consider that the T-30 is still in where he's last spotted and might be camping a bit. I don't think the T-30 would be moving, so I angle myself to the I-7 a bit because I try to show my side to the 2 targets, and sure enough the T-30 actually ends up following the I-7, which is what I should have known. Really, that's kind of a better move. But I figured the T-30 would be an easier kill. The T-30's so easy to pen with AP, and he's 1 shot away from dying to me, so I sprint for him. IS-7 kills our T-30, which is fine. I totally expected that. Now this is weird. The T-30 uses one of the dead tanks as cover and obscures his whole silhouette, so I couldn't hit his hull. I had to aim for the top of his turret, and unfortunately it doesn't pen. I think because he was perched on the hill still. He had a pretty good angle to me, so I couldn't pen the top of his turret, unfortunately. So someone else kills him, though. And yeah, I fight off the I-7, and because you guys know at this point that I got a Top Gun and I got 9,000 damage, that this is, I do in fact kill the I-7. and this engagement is pretty much a walk in the park. I've loaded heat. This is where my other heat shells have been loaded, is to finish off this I-7, and it's because I want this Top Gun. So, yeah, no, I'm throwing creds out the window. I want a Top Gun, so I want to kill this I-7. The 1375 comes in to help me out a little bit. I-7 lands one more shot on me, but it's too late. And I finish him off for the win. And the Jagdpanzer finishes the cap. So it is a clean win across both the capping and kills for our team. Fantastic all-round game for everybody. Well, I mean, those tier 10s that I was with on that flank probably could have dealt with a bit more help, but, I mean, we still won. And I had an absolutely amazing game, so I can't discount that. Anyways, I understand I'm not the best player, but I just wanted to show you guys because this is one of the best. I think this is the best game I've ever had in World of Tanks, like, entirely. And I understand it isn't an E100. I mean, oh, what a big surprise. You got 9,000 damage in an E100. Wow, it's such a wonderful accomplishment. I understand it's a typical tank to be getting these sort of battles in, but, I mean, it's a little bit exciting for me. And again, I was originally doing it not to get a good game, but just to show you guys, hey, you don't have to fire heat shells all the time. And there are times when, I mean, switching between the ammo types is useful, like hitting that Type 4 Heavy with the HE, finishing him off like that. And, yeah, so, certainly I hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't waste your time. I hope you felt like it was worth watching. And if you want, feel free to slander me in the forum topics or wherever I post this. I don't mind it one bit. I'd love to see your hateful comments or anything like that. Any comments like that. And yeah. So, goodbye.